This video shop presentation of ADAT Holding. It's a NASDAQ listed stock trading under ticker ADAT. Stock's been pretty strong in 2013, especially since dipping to 53-cent lows in February. Long period of consolidation throughout the summer and fall before finally taking off again in October, basically doubling in value from around 90 cents to up to $1.88. Pulled back. Clearly there's some profit taking that went on, especially early on last week. But the stock's bounced back upwards, essentially holding this middle Bollinger Band, the purple line, 20-day moving average. At a nice green close on Friday, up almost 6%, and with that reversal of the selling pressure, right off a pretty decent area of support, we want to pay attention to this chart again for a potential push to see if it's ready to make the next leg up. See how strong volume's been in December, especially compared to how it traded during the summer, really seeing a sharp increase in volume. Now the MACD is retracing after making the recent run, but overall, we're still seeing higher lows, nice upward channel. We'll just want to see that MACD hold over top of zero, show that the trend is still bullish. Similar look to the PPO. ADX is cooling off some, that's okay. It needs to reset. It was up at pretty high levels over top of 50. Pretty neutral reading from the positive and negative DIs as the stock price is retraced. All in all, a pretty neutral position for the ADX. 7 MFI pulled well away from the 14 and 21. I mentioned this in a lot of videos. When I see that big stretch between the two, I look for the 7 to recover quickly. And with that move on Friday, you can see the upward movement that started with the MFI, indicating a potential bounce is happening. Pretty strong and steady look to the accumulation distribution, slowly moving upward throughout the first 3 quarters of the year, and then just taking off recently. A lot of buying pressure coming into the play. We're also seeing that in the Chaikin money flow, which is holding in the green, saying that buying pressure is outweighing selling pressure. And even with the sell-off and the profit taking, Chaikin money flow is declining a little bit, making lower peaks, but still holding well in the green, indicating that buying pressure is still strong. CCI also retraced. Again, all this is to be expected with the stock price falling from the highs. We'll just look for the move upward again. Break through 100. That's the technical buy signal for the CCI. Full still. Not crazy about seeing it drop below 50. I want to see it up above 50 to show that there's bullish momentum being sustained in the play. So we'll look for something similar to right through here, where the slow slip below 50 and then bounced right back upward. And even on a retrace, held that mark, showed that bullish momentum was staying in the play. And tricks, a very slow moving indicator. It's a gauge of trend. Read it pretty similar to the MACD. I'm going to look for that upward path to continue to show that the trend of the chart is still bullish. RSIs, a very commonly used gauge of momentum. 14 and 21, the red and gold lines, longer term RSIs. I always want to see them over top of 50. The 7's more susceptible to whipsaws, simply because it's based on shorter periods. But it's curling back upward with the buying pressure. And I want to see the 14 and 21 hold that mark. Because generally speaking, you can see how bullish the chart's been since the RSI climbed to the upper half of the indicator. So that's why it's important for me to see these long-term RSIs hold that level. Now, the thing that caught my eye about this when I saw this chart was, let's call a longer-term resistance point right through that area of $1.40. Back early on in the year, that was a difficult point. Stock never even closed above it. Fell back down. Even when it came here in October and tried it, it didn't make it through. Slipped back down, consolidated a little more. Then finally the breakout happened. A new high was formed. And when the stock came back, it consolidated on that level again. So that's going to be the first level of support that I want to see hold in this chart. I think it's notable it does pick up a little bit more down here at $1.30, which also happens to be the 50-day moving average, registering $1.31, which I wouldn't say it's the end of the world if this chart did slip a little bit lower and bounced off of that 50-day, because that's a pretty strong area of support. But that would be the lowest level I'd want to see, because one, holding over top of the 50 days is important, and secondly, because the next level of support is not going to come in until around $1.10. And that's a pretty hefty drop from closing at $1.47. Also, I think it's worth noting, this 3-day candle pattern has the looks of a 3-day reversal pattern called a Morningstar Doji. And simply put, that just means the recent trend was downward. That hammer dropped on the bottom, showed buying pressure coming back into the play. And then the upward move on Friday suggests the bulls are coming back in. And with that, we'll be looking for another green close today to confirm the reversal of the chart. And in that case, we'll be looking for a little bit of resistance right here on $1.60, but not primary resistance till the old highs up at $1.88, which leaves a pretty nice upside for the play as the chart looks to continue a long-term pattern of making higher highs and higher lows. So with those things in mind, we'll kick this holiday shortened week off, keeping an eye on ADAT to see how it performs. As always, it's merely my interpretation of the chart. Thank you for watching. Trade smart.